Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today we're unpacking an absolutely extreme psychological experiment, one that tests the absolute limits of human endurance, boredom, and ultimately, trust. I mean, imagine being completely cut off from the outside world, trapped in a room where every single decision you make or don't make could literally cost you a fortune. And the entire premise is built around one staggering number: 100. We're talking 100 days locked inside a massive, blindingly bright white isolation chamber. No sunlight, eating the exact same canned chicken and beef, day in, day out, and honestly, worst of all, absolutely no concept of time. In fact, within just hours, the internal clocks of the participants were so completely shattered that they were accidentally starting their days at like 2:30 in the morning. Now, who's actually enduring this? Just two people. Two complete strangers, Bailey and Susie. And get this, they met for the very first time, the exact moment their blindfolds came off inside this cube. So they have to navigate this intense, mind-numbing boredom together, sitting in this bizarre, sterile space that, well, one of them pretty accurately described as feeling like an insane asylum. But of course, there's a massive incentive keeping them from walking out. Sitting right outside their door in a literal vault is a cool $500,000. But there's a brutal catch. This isn't a solo endurance game. If either Susie or Bailey decides they've just had enough and leaves the cube early, before the 100 days are up, they both get absolutely nothing. Zero. Their fates and their fortunes are totally tied together. So looking at this crazy setup, I really want you to ask yourself, could you survive this for $500,000? Like, really imagine the sheer sensory deprivation, the bright lights stinging your eyes so badly you literally have to build shields out of paper, having to resort to making tiny decks of cards out of torn journal pages just to keep from losing your mind. Would you last? Section 1. The cost of comfort. Buying back sanity. Now, simply surviving the boredom was one thing, but this brilliantly illustrates the true core of this test. It's about how the host systematically tempted these totally exhausted contestants to spend their own prize money just to buy back tiny pieces of their sanity. So every 10 days, a brand new temptation dropped. Day 10, they were offered a private chef for 50 grand. They heroically said no. Day 20, comfortable smart beds and the ability to finally turn off those blinding lights for another 50 grand. Again, amazingly, they refused. But by day 30, a curated $10,000 menu of individual luxuries was dropped right in their laps. The pressure on their willpower was just relentless. Let's take a closer look at that day 30 menu. After a full month of sheer boredom, eating that bland canned chicken, and suffering under those intense hospital lights, they finally cracked. I mean, you can't blame them, right? They spent $20,000 of their price pool to secure a coffee machine and the Harry Potter book collection. And once that seal was broken, man, the sunk cost fallacy really started to creep in. By day 50, which marks the halfway point of their isolation, they parted with another 20 grand. This time it was just for a 10-minute family visit through a glass window to celebrate Susie's mother's birthday. You can clearly see how the emotional toll of the isolation was just battering down their defenses, making them way more willing to spend. Which brings us to Section 2, the Tesla regret, the $50,000 mystery box. On day 60, they faced what would become the absolute most devastating psychological blow of the entire challenge. The host brought in this giant mystery box, asking for $50,000 to keep whatever was inside. Now, Susie's expectation was incredibly firm. She literally said, "I just know they would never do a car." And because of this completely confident assumption, they rejected the offer. But the brutal reality, oh man, the host opened the box to reveal their $50K cash back, plus 2 free Teslas. It was a total agonizing loss. The realization was utterly soul-crushing. Susie was instantly devastated. She said, "I'll regret this forever. I'm actually feeling sick right now." And this wasn't just a fleeting feeling. This single missed opportunity completely derailed her focus. For 9 straight days, she agonized over it, complaining endlessly about the lost car. And as you can imagine, that made the already incredibly claustrophobic environment insanely tense for both of them. That takes us right into Section 3, the $100,000 compromise, the ultimate bundle. We jump forward to day 70, where the host cleverly leveraged that lingering Tesla regret into an absolute masterclass of temptation, the mega bundle. Facing contestants who were literally still kicking themselves for missing out, the host offered practically everything they'd previously rejected. Two $30,000 smart beds, a brand new mystery box with two smaller Teslas inside, Monopoly, spices, an entire aisle of movies from Walmart, and the private chef's food. The whole shebang. But there was a massive catch. It was a blind auction. They had to bid a dollar amount against a secret, predetermined number hidden in an envelope to win it all. If they guessed under that secret number, they'd get absolutely nothing. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how perfectly it captures their breaking point. Just look at the massive depletion of the prize pool here. Driven almost entirely by the fear of missing out, again, that crippling regret from day 60, their sheer desperation led them to bid a massive $100,101 just to ensure they secured this final bundle. The ultimate cost of their comfort was taking a huge six-figure bite right out of their potential winnings. But here is the truly fascinating irony of human psychology in isolation. You'd naturally think that getting comfortable beds, hot showers, and endless movies would make them infinitely happier, right? Nope. Wrong. It created the paradox of luxury. More stuff actually equaled more conflict. Suddenly, they had things to argue over, like Bailey using up all the hot water, or Susie refusing to focus on their Monopoly game because she was too busy watching movies. Believe it or not, the luxuries actually made them incredibly irritable with one another. Which leads us to our fourth and final section, the final dilemma. A high-stakes game of trust. We finally arrive at day 99, and a terrifying twist is revealed. Simply surviving the room wasn't the end. Not even close. The host brought out the brutal rules of a classic behavioral economics test known as split or steal. Let's walk through it. Step 1. If both choose to split, they divide the remaining money perfectly 50-50. Step 2. If one steals and the other splits, the stealer takes the entire pot and the other gets absolutely nothing. Step 3. If both steal, they both walk away with $0. And to make it utterly agonizing, they were forced to make this choice while blindfolded and wearing noise-canceling headphones, completely isolated from each other's intentions. So the ultimate question becomes, after 100 days of isolation, do you trust a stranger with almost 180 grand? Seriously, put yourself in that chair for a second. Feel the overwhelming paranoia, the absolute fear that after 3 months of intense suffering, your partner might just hit steal at the very last second and leave you with nothing. Would you hit steal just to protect yourself from being played? In those final agonizing seconds under the blindfold, Bailey shared his inner logic. He reflected on the profound shared experience of their suffering together. He noted, "The fact that I entered this challenge knowing that there would be pretty dark times ahead, and I still overcame all those things, there's no price you can put on that." And then the host revealed the results. The room lit up green. They both chose to split. I mean, it is a genuinely incredible moment to witness. After absolutely everything, the crushing boredom, the blinding lights, the intense regret of the missed Teslas, the endless bickering over hot water, mutual trust actually triumphed over greed. Bailey and Susie each walked out of those doors with nearly $180,000. This whole experiment is an amazing case study in endurance, temptation, and ultimately human connection under extreme duress. So I want you to be completely honest with yourself. If you were sitting in that room on day 100, blindfolded with hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, would you have split the money or taken it all? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep seeking to understand the fascinating complexities of the human mind.